Hi everyone, a very good evening to all who is joining us for our webinar today. My name is Bhavna Dugal and I'm here representing the SI UK team. First and foremost, thank you everyone who has joined us for our webinar, welcoming all the students, parents and counselors as well who actually have taken out time and investing your time during this pandemic. So on that note, a few of you may not know what SI UK is and perhaps what we do. So just quick introduction on SI UK. So SI UK is a global organization with its presence spread across 50 countries. We are the official representatives of UK universities. We assist students across the globe to seek admission in the top universities with our premium servicing for Oxbridge, Russell Group, and other non-Russell Group universities. In case you need extra information on our services, requesting everyone to visit our website, that's www.studyin-uk.in. And yes, don't forget to subscribe our channel. So on that note, I would like to introduce our key speaker of the webinar today, Ms. Delhi Kareem, and she has done a PhD in economics with Brunel University. So thank you so much for being here today, Ms. Delhi. And we are not able to thank you enough for having you here and helping students to help, to choose right career. So SI UK team welcomes you here, and now floor is all yours.
Thank you, Bhavna, and welcome to all of you. A warm welcome from me in London, and I hope all is well with you in India. So I have actually traveled to India several times and met with students there in different cities. Unfortunately, this year, as you all know, because of the COVID situation, I can't be there with you in person. So what I will do today is I will actually run through our programs in Brunel University relating to economics and finance. So just to introduce myself, I'm Dr. Kareem. I'm a senior lecturer in the economics and finance department at Brunel. My specific research area is in banking. And so I'm also the program leader for banking and finance, but I'm also the director of international. So I deal a lot with international student recruitment in different countries, India, China, Africa. And so if you do have any questions at the end regarding the programs, then definitely feel free to ask me, okay? Now I'm gonna whiz through a few of the initial slides, which are sort of general. So for example, why study in the UK? Well, obviously, if you're interested in studying in the UK, I'm sure all of you have a pretty good idea of the advantages of studying here. But as you know, it's a high quality, internationally recognized education that you will get on your CV. And of course, you'll have a unique learning experience in terms of living abroad, mingling with different cultures. We have a lot of exciting and innovative programs in the UK. Some of them are very specialized, very specific, and some of them are interdisciplinary. And we have a UK heritage in terms of teaching philosophy and approach to learning. And as I explained, when you come to the UK, because it's such a valued degree, by nature, you will meet students and staff and academics from many different countries. And that will enhance your learning experience, because it's not just about textbook learning, but it's about picking up transferable skills. And part of that involves meeting people from different cultures and learning how to interact, especially when you go into a multicultural workplace. So it will give your CV a global gloss. And of course, in terms of Brunel, we're based in London. In fact, we're the only campus university based in London. So it gives you access to the London market in terms of finance and banking. So as I said, we are a campus-based university. Now, we're the only campus-based university in London. And that is obviously because London land is at a premium. So not all universities can have an entire university based on a single campus, but we do. And as you can see from this picture, we have huge campus with everything on site. So this is one of the key advantages of studying at Brunel, because not only are you studying in London, but you actually get a proper campus university feel. And you can see that we've got all the teaching facilities at one end of the campus. Then we've got dispersal of lecture facilities. we've got academics office spaces, we've got the library, we've got the doctors, we've got the cafes, the restaurants, and then we've got all the accommodation, the student accommodation dispersed within these buildings. So you'll be actually living within the heart of campus and being able to access all the different facilities while you're there. And as I said, because we're a campus-based university and because we're in London, we're very attractive to the international market. So one of the key advantages for you if you come and study is that, you know, you'll meet students from over 110 different countries. I mean, right across the world, from an undergraduate level right up to the postgraduate level. And this feeds through not just into your classroom activities, but also in all the societies that you can join, whether it's netball or football. And you can work collaboratively with different people and experience how different cultures address different challenges, global challenges. And as I explained, this is a huge part of your learning, and we value this very much at Brunel University. And as I explained, because we're a campus-based university, we have a lot of accommodation available on campus, very nice, good quality accommodation. And as an international postgraduate student, you would be guaranteed accommodation on campus. So we've got over 4,500 self-catering rooms, but you can cook yourself. Or, as I said, we've also got all the restaurants and all the shops which sell all sorts of ingredients for international students. They're right there on campus. So you can go to the restaurant or you can cook yourself. The rooms can be en suite, so you have your own bathroom, or they can be standard and studio flat options. And as I said, if you accept your offer to study by the 31st of August, then you will be guaranteed accommodation. And my colleague, Shivani, she can answer more questions about that if you want. So what's different about us in the Economics and Finance department, where I'm from? So we rank in the top 300 in the world in terms of the research output. So we're very reputable in that sense. But also specifically, the MSc programs that I will talk about in finance, accounting, and banking, they are not just taught by us academics, but they're actually also partially taught by industry speakers. And we feel this is very important because we will be teaching you all the theory, you know, the complicated mathematical and finance theory, but also you will get industry speakers from investment banks, hedge funds, international organizations like the IMF, World Bank. They will also be coming and giving you a series of lectures to tell you what the current challenges are in the world of finance, the things that you should be aware of if you want to go for a job interview after your degree, and the kind of things that you need to put on your CV if you want to get jobs in their areas. So if you want to go into investment banking or hedge funds or IMF, they will tell you what the current situation is in terms of job application. Really value employability. So as part of our programs, not only will we teach you the theory, but we will be training you up on the specific databases that you will need to be familiar with if you want to go into a job in finance. So things like training in Bloomberg, Fitch, Thomson Reuters, eViews, econometric software, they're all part of the degree, and you will have to have that training. But also that means that you can put that down on your CV. And when you go for a job interview, you can say, well, I've already got my Bloomberg license, you know, and that makes you much more valuable. Additionally, each of our MSc courses has an introductory maths and stats course. And again, these are all reasons why our department in Brunel is different from other universities, because we understand that at postgraduate levels, especially, a lot of students are coming from different undergraduate backgrounds. They're coming from different countries. Some of them have been working for a couple of years. And so maybe their maths and stats skills are a bit rusty. So at the very beginning of the course, for the first 2 weeks, before your main lectures start, all of you will do this introductory maths and stats course, because we want to bring you all up to the same level in terms of the maths and stats that we are going to be teaching you as part of the finance or accounting or banking programs. Now, this course, there's no exam involved. It's purely just to bring you all up to speed and give you the skills necessary to cope with the lectures once they start. Another unique thing about us is that all of our 4 programs offer a 1-year placement or a shorter 6 to 12-week placement, okay? So the placement is very valuable, obviously, because if you've already worked 1 year in industry, by the time you finished your degree, then obviously that's going to boost up your CV. And I'll talk more about the placement later. Now, there's another big advantage of our programs, and that is as part of the MSc Banking and Finance and the MSc Finance and Investment programs, we will also offer free tuition for CFA 1. And again, we know this is very valuable to the Indian market. So I will go on and discuss this in more detail later. But let me first of all give you a brief overview of our 4 different programs. So the first one is banking and finance. Now, like I said, my research area is banking, and so I'm the program leader for banking and finance. And this program is ideally suited to students who definitely know that they want to go into a banking or finance related job afterwards. Okay. Now, for this, you don't necessarily need to have a banking background, because many students, they will not do banking at undergraduate level, but later on they may think, well, I would like to go into investment banking or into finance. And so we're not requiring you to have a banking background, but we do need you to have either finance or some quantitative background. So for example, if you don't have finance as an undergrad, but if you've done things like computer engineering and you have a strong quantitative background, then this degree is fine for you. And obviously at the end of it, it opens up jobs, not just in finance and banking, but it also opens up government jobs in terms of bank regulation, because one of the unique parts of this program is that we teach you about all the latest government regulations that banks have to follow. So you can also go into a regulatory job afterwards. The other one that we have is business finance. Now, this one is really suited for students that really have minimal finance or business background. And it will allow you to develop skills in theories of finance, company valuation, real life skills that you can also use in practice in terms of working in many, many different businesses, not just banking or finance businesses. So if you want to start up your own company, for example, the kind of skills that you'd learn in this program would be very valuable. Okay. The next one is the finance and investment. And in a sense, this is the most traditional finance and investment course. So it deals with high level finance and investment knowledge. So things like modeling financial decisions, investment valuations, securities pricing. And because this is the more traditional technical course, for this one, we do require you to have some finance background at undergraduate, because the maths level is slightly higher than the other programs. And the last one that we have is finance and accounting. And obviously this is for someone who definitely knows they want to go down an accounting route. And you would need to have some accounting background for this, because a lot of the modules that we teach are accredited by ACCA and also by CIMA. And at the end, obviously, you have options for careers in not just accountancy firms, but also in consulting and also generally in financial institutions and government agencies. So obviously, the Indian students always want to ask about the professional practice, the placement. So as I explained, all 4 of our programs offer either a 1-year placement or a short placement. Now, typically the 1-year placement is the most popular, and students who then do the placement, what will happen is that when you graduate, your degree will say not just MSc Banking and Finance, but it will say with professional practice, to signify on your degree certificate that you've actually undertaken a 1-year placement in a firm. And clearly, not just Indian students, but all students really try and get this placement, because it significantly improves your job prospects. And some employers, in fact, most employers that we would expect you to get a placement with, would be providing some form of salary. So in terms of finances, it's also very attractive. So it applies, the 1-year placement applies to all postgraduate programs. And at the end, the program will be a 24-month duration. So you do 1 year of study, and then after that, you'll do 1 year of placement. And as I explained, you are expected to take a paid placement because this is a proper job as part of the Brunel placement policy. And we have a wide range of top companies available that you can get placed at. It is obviously your responsibility to apply for them. The placement is not guaranteed. You have to apply because while you're on placement, you've actually signed a contract with a company. You know, I've had students who have done placements at JP Morgan. And while you're there, you are an employee of JP Morgan. So you have to pass the interview. But what we will do is we will give you a huge amount of support in terms of preparing for the interview process. So in terms of CV writing, cover letter writing, psychometric tests, which are used as filters to get shortlisted, mock interviews, talks by employers in industry, and networking events. These will all form part of a pre-placement module. So while you're taking your finance or your accounting or your banking courses, you will also take a pre-placement module that prepares you in all these respects to start doing the applications. And obviously, the more applications you start doing, then the more likely that you'll get the interview and secure the placement. And to help you with this, you'll have a dedicated placement officer in our professional development center. And she's an expert. She sources placements just in finance and in banking. And she will be liaising with you on an ongoing basis, telling you that you should apply for certain positions. And she'll be checking your CV, doing mock interviews. And the support that our professional development center gives is very, very high quality. And in fact, was awarded as the 5th best careers service back last year. Now, during the placement, what will happen is you will take your final exams in May. That's how the structure of the term works. So you'll take your final exams in May, June, and then the placement will start in July. Now, bear in mind, while you're on placement, you're not actually studying on campus. For 1 year, 9 to 5, you are working in a company. So the work that you do during that period will be guided by your line manager in the company. So you will actually have a boss in the company who's guiding you in terms of your work. But having said that, even though you're not studying at Brunel, during that period, we will come and visit you. So you will have a work placement tutor, someone like me, who will keep in touch with you, come and visit you, and make sure that everything is okay, and also have a chat with your boss and make sure everything is okay. And so we say to all the students that you should try and make the most of it because it's a very valuable experience if you can get it. And as I explained, we have an award-winning placement service, and we've got access to a wide range of companies. And as I also explained, if you can get a job in Barclays or HSBC for 1 year, that really increases the value of your CV. It really increases your employability, whether you choose to stay in the UK or as part of the post-study work visa, or whether you choose to return to India. If you've got 1 year's work experience in a top company on your CV, plus you've got an academic reference from us, but also you've got your line manager as a referee from that company, then that makes you very valuable. And the other big thing that the students are always interested in is in the CFA program. Now, obviously in India and China, CFA is very valuable. Now, because of the way our programs are structured, for Banking and Finance MSc and for Finance and Investment MSc, the CFA training is embedded. So what will happen is you study all your finance and your banking courses throughout the year, and you sit your final exams in May, June. As soon as you sat your final exams, very soon afterwards, Brunel will partner with Fitch Education. Fitch Education is one of the main education providers for the Chartered Financial Analyst exam. So Fitch Education will come to campus just after you've sat your exam, so the theory is fresh in your mind, and they will give you a 10-day focus course, just solid bootcamp training on CFA questions, how to solve the CFA questions. They will also give you a 2-day revision course and exam preparation, again, on how to answer the CFA 1 questions. Now, once you've done all that, then at the end, in December, you can actually go to the CFA Institute in London and just sit your CFA 1 exam, because the CFA 1 exam is going to be held in December from now on. Now, normally, this training by Fitch costs £1,314. But where Brunel is unique is that if you achieve a distinction in your final exams, we will cover this cost entire for free. So you don't have to pay anything if you are on these two programs, banking and finance and investment. So provided you achieve a distinction, the CFA Fitch training is completely free. If you get a merit, we will cover 50% of the cost. And if you get just a pass, we will cover 30% of the cost, okay? But as it stands, we're the only UK university to actually offer this incentive in terms of you achieving CFA 1 as part of or soon after your studies finish at Brunel. And we do have scholarships available, and I'm sure many of you will have questions about scholarships. For this, I'm going to hand over to my colleague at the end, Shivani. She's based in India, and she'll be able to answer all the questions that you have about scholarship access. But we do get good scholarship students, and generally they tend to do very well because obviously they've probably got high grades to start with, so they're pretty motivated. But that's the end of my part. So I'm now open for questions, if you have any. Shivani?
Yeah, Didi, I think Bhavna from SIUK would be coordinating the questions for you.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So we have one question from Shruti. Is math a mandate for UG in economics? Any alternative option?
For undergraduate?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly, Bhavna.
Is math mandatory for UG in economics? Or is there any alternative option?
They're pretty much, for most of the programs, we do need maths at UG, but we do have accounting programs where you do not need maths at UG. But generally you will need sort of AS or GCSE level maths, or for certain programs you'll need full A-level maths. But for GCSE level maths, there's quite a few programs available, economics and business finance, things like that, where you can enter with high school equivalent maths.
All right. Thank you for answering. Another question is from Anna. Best option after undergrads in economics?
In terms of what, jobs or?
Yeah, she's asking about different options, I guess, after undergrad.
But what, education options or job options?
I would probably say it would be education, I suppose. To get a good job, I'm sure you need a combination of an undergrad and a postgrad. So probably what other course options could they look at after doing an undergraduation in economics?
Well, if you're doing an economics undergrad, then it would make sense for you to do a postgrad in something like finance, because economics is microeconomics. So you're doing macro, micro development economics. But then if you then take a postgrad in finance, then you broaden your employability options, right? Because then you can also not just enter economics, but also finance related jobs. And that improves your CV substantially.
Okay. Fine. Then, all right, I'm just checking that other question. All right. So, please update on the clearing process.
The clearing process, I'll revert to my colleague Shivani.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Bhavna. So clearing is a process in the UK which will begin, which has started at Brunel actually from the 5th of July, which basically entails any student that wants to come and study an undergraduate degree at Brunel or in the UK can use the clearing option, wherein they haven't met their desired grades. We will drop down the grades slightly on the basis of the overall IB and A-level results, and would be happy to accept them at a grade lower than what they expected to have gotten before. Obviously, clearing criteria will vary and differ from different courses. So if there are any specific courses that the students would like to know about, we're more than happy to help with the same.
All right. Thank you, Shivani. And the other question is, what kind of assistance assistance and workshop does the university assist with?
What kind of assistance and workshop?
Yeah, does the university assist with?
Who's asking that question?
Student, I guess.
Sorry?
I think it's student.
No, I'm just asking because when they say what kind of workshop, do they mean academic or do they? Because
yeah, definitely academic.
Oh, academic. Okay.
Yeah.
So academic workshops, as I explained, as part of the postgrad program, you will have a whole series of workshops embedded in your program that are taught by industry experts. You will be invited every week to turn up to these workshops. They're very valuable because if you have a speaker coming from an investment bank or a hedge fund, you should attend this because A, you're learning how the industry works, but B, you can also network with these speakers. So that's part of your program. Then outside your program, we also have every week departmental workshops that you can attend. And these are teaching you about the latest research that's being done. So it's very good for you to attend those things because when you go for a job interview or when you do your exams, you can add that extra information in. And then aside from that, the Brunel campus itself provides regular workshops by department or subject area. So there'll be workshops run by the Professional Development Center for networking with employers. Then there are also more general workshops that are nothing to do with your course, which are interdisciplinary workshops, which are again are very valuable. So for example, there might be workshops run by the politics department that relate to finance as well, and you can attend those. So a lot of workshop opportunities are available.
If I may add, Dilly, one thing that, in Brunel, we also encourage international students to do is to learn a language. Brunel offers 13 languages completely free of charge for international students to take up at the beginners level. All of these things, you would agree with me, would brighten up your CV and would make you more employable once your course is over. So there's a lot that you could gain. It depends on you and how you manage your time to be able to get the best out of it.
Absolutely. I can't stress enough how valuable learning another language is, especially if you want to go into jobs in the field of finance, because finance is a very globalized industry. And to have a language course offered entirely free is pretty unique. And so as Shivani says, if you can manage your time and you can take advantage of that, then by the time you've graduated, not only is your CV looking good in terms of finance, but also in terms of the fact that you have an additional language skill.
All right, wonderful, very well answered. Next question is, what is the scope of behavioral economics?
Sorry, what?
What is the scope of behavioral economics?
What is the scope of
behavior economics?
What is the scope?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means, but I can answer in terms of our undergraduate. Behavioral economics is a module that you would learn in certain programs because behavioral economics really underpins a lot of economic behavior, but also underpins finance as well to a great extent. So if you're interested in behavioral economics, it sounds good to me because it's a very, very important topic, but it is taught as part of our undergraduate programs.
All right. Next question is from Sashi. Hi, I am MBA in finance, but now I wish to take MSc in finance and accounting abroad. Do you think it's worth doing again a master?
Sorry, what was the student's name?
Sashi.
Rishi.
Sashi.
Sishi, sorry. Sashi. Okay, Sashi, really, I mean, to answer that question, that really depends on what you want to do afterwards. If, for example, you want to get a job in finance, then and it depends on where you want to get a job in finance. So, for example, if you said to me, I want to get a job in finance in India, then I would say, well, you've already got an MBA in finance, and whether you need to do an additional degree or not depends on the Indian labor market. What is the job market like in India at the moment for MBA finance graduates? If, however, you want to take advantage of the 2-year post-study work visa and get a decent finance job in the UK, then I would advise you to do an additional master's, because the MBA in India works slightly differently from the MBA in the UK. The MBA in the UK is usually taken by people who've had quite a bit of industry experience already. And it's a different type of qualification to the one that finance institutions accept. So finance institutions in the UK would typically look for a solid postgraduate, a solid master's in finance, investment, or anything like that. So if you want a job in the UK, I would not rely on your Indian MBA. But if you want a job in India, then it may be possible that you don't need to do an additional master's.
All right. Thank you for answering. Next question is from Ashish. How many exemptions does one get for the ACCA? And
yeah, that's a good question, Ashish. And for that one, what I will do is I will ask you to get in touch with Shivani. I'm sure, Shivani, you can get in touch with Ashish. The reason I'm saying that, Ashish, is because I know that the program leader for finance and accounting is actually going through the accreditation process at the moment, because the exemptions have to be renewed every year. So at the moment, she's going through the accreditations process. So I think pretty soon, when Shivani contacts our department, the program leader for finance and accounting can specifically answer your question that if you start the program in September, exactly how many exemptions you will get.
Maybe you could give a previous year's example, Dilly. As of last year, how many exemptions did I think it was 3 per year, was it?
Yeah, it was roughly 3, but it may be more this year. We just don't know. And also to be clear as well, because of the COVID situation, the way students are taking exams has changed. So the exemptions are being renewed at the moment. Bear in mind, if you do an undergraduate degree, and sorry, Bhavna, is Ashish an undergrad student or a postgrad student?
He hasn't mentioned yet. Maybe I need to ask him this question.
The reason I'm asking is because if it's an undergraduate student, then a student doing undergraduate accounting will get the maximum exemptions possible. And the reason for that is because the undergraduate degree is 3 years. So you're learning accounting over 3 years, so you will get the maximum ACCA exemptions possible. But if it's a postgrad degree, because it's only a 1-year program, and you're doing a mix of finance and accounting modules, the number of exemptions will be lower. But as Shivani said, it's been roughly around 3, but we're working on the exact current exemptions at the moment.
All right, fine. Next question is from Anu. What is the scope of ACCA?
So Anu, this is similar to the question that I've just answered. It depends if you're talking about undergraduate or postgraduate. If you do an undergraduate accounting program, you will get the maximum exemptions at the moment. But if you're doing a postgraduate program, which is only 1 year, you won't get so many exemptions, but you will still get some exemptions. Plus, you will also get SEMA exemptions as well.
All right. So Ashish,
I think Dilly, what probably Anu is trying to ask is, if you have the ACCA accreditation with you, what's the scope of it? How do students benefit if they have an ACCA accreditation with them on their CV? How would that add value?
Oh, okay. If that's the question. So if you already have ACCA exemptions, in terms of doing a master's at Brunel, it may add in terms of your entry requirements into finance and accounting. So assuming that you want to go into finance and accounting masters, obviously that will add value because you've already got ACCA exemptions. So in terms of the admissions tutor considering your application, that is valuable. But I think it's more valuable in terms of the job market. So if you do want to do an internship or a placement after your degree, as part of the degree, if you want to do a placement, then having ACCA exemptions on your CV is extremely valuable, right? Because you've already shown that you've met the industry standard. And even if you don't do a placement, even if you want to apply for jobs as part of a 2-year post-study work visa, having these kind of qualifications is an excellent thing.
All right. Thank you for the answer. Next question is from Ravi Chandran. What is your opinion about Indian Economic Studies?
Indian Economic Studies.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure because I haven't encountered that program before. We don't offer it in Brunel, although in Brunel, as part of our finance programs, you will do global financial markets, and that will cover different countries. But in terms of Indian Economic Studies, I can't really make a judgment.
All right. Next question is from Kalpika. Does Brunel have the BBA course? Also, is it possible to do CFA side by side?
The first part of Kalpika's question I didn't hear. Does Brunel have the
Bachelor's of Business Administration? It's the BSc Business Management. Yes, we do. We offer the Bachelor's in Business Administration, either a 3-year program or a 4-year program with a 1-year work placement. And as Dilly stated before, we recommend the work placement sandwich year option because it gives you industrial experience. Dilly, can they do the CFA while pursuing their bachelor's degree? Is that possible?
They can, but it's going to be extremely onerous because the level of finance that they would need, and also that kind of finance probably wouldn't be taught in the business school. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, of course. But I mean, as far as if they want to take it independent, because in India it's common, you do your undergraduate degree
there's nothing to stop you. There's nothing to stop any student if you can cope with a 3-year degree, and if you can cope with all your CFAs, nothing's stopping you. And I would encourage you as long as your university grades don't suffer.
And we could support them in kind of, aligning them with the CFA,
I don't think business school does that.
But could we route that through the, I know they do it for SEMA. I'm not sure about CFA.
Yeah,
they
CFA
do it for management
from SEMA.
Right. So of course, I mean, we will help you as much as we can, but as a part of the business management program, the maths component is much lesser. If you want to do a CFA, I would request you to consider a degree, undergraduate degree in economics and finance, because I think then you'll cover more maths and, statistics modules to be able to pursue the CFA. Is that correct, Dilly?
Yeah, I would definitely. That's why I'm saying the business programs do not align with CFA because they're not teaching finance to that extent.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Next question is from Devendra. I think he's trying to ask that what is the procedure for PhD program in your university, and he has just completed his PG in economics.
So for PhD program, what he has to do, he has to decide what he wants to pursue for his PhD. So he has to have an idea of the kind of research question that he wants to examine. Because remember, PhD is a long process, it's a big investment. So you need to be clear what kind of question you want to examine. For example, is it in development economics, or is it in microeconomics, or is it a finance-related PhD? And once you've decided that, you need to write a proposal, and say, okay, these are the question that I would like to look at. Here's some of the literature background. This is the empirical strategy I would take. And once you've written the proposal, you then need to check different supervisors' area of research. So, for example, if you wanted to do a PhD in development economics, then I would say, do not approach me because my area is banking. You need to find a supervisor whose expertise is in development economics. And once you've found someone like that, a supervisor that matches your research question, you can then approach them informally and say, I'm interested in doing a PhD. And then you can make an application online. I don't know if Shivani wants to add anything.
I think that's absolutely perfect.
All right. Next question is from Jigar. Hi, can you please provide details on accommodations?
I'll hand over to Shivani for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jigar, for your question. Yes, Brunel is a campus-based university, which means we guarantee accommodation to all our international students. And we have 3 types of accommodation. One is a standard accommodation where you have to share the bathroom and the kitchen with other students. And then you have an ensuite accommodation where you have a private bathroom in your room and you're only sharing the kitchen with other students. And last are studio flats, which are for couples. If you're planning to go with your wife, you could obviously take the studio flat. These are guaranteed to students at Brunel for all years of study. So if you're pursuing a one-year program, we will guarantee it to you for 1 year. If it's a multiple duration program, you will get the same accommodation if you want, and if you wish to, for all the years of study.
Thank you for answering, Shivani. Next question is from Ashish. Which university is best for hotel management? Can you please tell me?
Thanks, Ashish, for your question. Unfortunately, as much as we would love to, we do not have a hotel management school at Brunel. But I would definitely recommend you to speak to your SI UK colleagues, and I'm sure they'll give you the best possible recommendation in the UK for that. I think we missed one question from Sankalp, Bhavna.
Yeah. Does Brunel have courses related to humanities, especially history and politics?
Thanks for your question, Sankalp. I'll have to take that because that's not Delhi's area of study. We do offer 4 popular courses. One is MSc Political Communication. Another popular one is MA in International Relations. We do MSc in Media and Communications as well, which has a specialization in politics. And we also do medical anthropology. So that's more how the medical turnaround is different in each economic and political zone, depending on where you are based on. So these are the 4 options that we offer currently at Brunel at master's level for politics.
All right, thank you. And I think this is the last question from Ravi Chandran. Ma'am, is there any PDF study about media economics to join in your university?
Sorry, Bhavna?
PDF study about media economics.
We don't have a specific media economics program, and I think that would be very rare in the UK, actually, media economics. However, as part of your postgraduate, as part of your finance masters, you would be completely free to do your entire dissertation around the economics of media studies. And you would have to, so that would be a proper research project that you would do, an in-depth research project, reviewing all the literature, all the industry reports, accessing the data, doing some quantitative analysis on how economics and media works, essentially, and whether you're talking about print media, or whether you're talking about the cinema industry, the film industry. You'd be free to look at that from your perspective.
I think, Bhavna, there's one more question from Shashi Rekha. I think that, Dilly, that's for you, I suppose. I think it's more about which masters among the 4 that you spoke about is the best for becoming a financial analyst.
Yeah.
If you have a finance background, I would say finance and investment. If you do not have a finance background, then banking and finance.
All right. I think there is the last question I can see. I'm pursuing my master's in economics. What is the scope for it?
Well, this is similar to the previous question. I think a lady asked, she has an MBA in finance and whether she should do another master's in the UK. If you're pursuing your postgrad in economics, if you want a job in India, then that would depend on what the job market is like in India. If you want to apply for jobs in the UK, then you would have to make a direct application from India to companies in the UK.
Okay. Next question is from Nazra. Anna. Why do you think doing the higher study in finance is better than economics?
No, I'm not saying higher study in finance is better than economics. I'm talking about my area of expertise, the four finance programs that we offer. If you want to do a master's in economics or behavioral economics or pure economics, that's equally valid. Absolutely. I mean, it all depends on what kind of jobs you want to get at the end, really.
All right. Next question is from Sashi again. Do IFRS accounting is studied under MSc in Finance and Accounting?
Yeah, the finance and accounting covers all the IFRS, and actually you'll go in depth into IFRS accounting standards in terms of looking at the literature, the research, and even your dissertation as well. When you do your dissertation, you'll be looking at a lot of accounting data and taking into account the impact of all the different IFRS regulations on firms' accounting practices. Definitely IFRS, you cannot escape it if you're doing finance and accounting.
All right, thank you. Next question is from Kalpika. Ma'am, I'm deciding to do a BBA in India. Which master's degree must I pursue for financial analyst?
Again, as I said, if you have, she's doing a BBA.
Yeah, that's right. The bachelor's in business, which is less maths, but more business modules, so more accountancy. I think probably you would recommend banking and finance in this case,
Banking
right?
and finance or business finance, yeah. Banking and finance or business finance.
All right. And next question is from Shanya. What are the career options in economics?
In economics?
Yeah.
Economics has a very wide set of career options. One of the reasons why economics is a very valuable degree is because it brings together social sciences and maths. So employers recognize economics as a mathematical subject because economics is a mathematical subject. So what this means is after you've graduated from economics, you can go into a very wide range of jobs. You can go into finance type or quantitative related jobs, but you can also go into social sciences related jobs as well. So, you know, I will always say, instead of doing a business degree, try and do an economics degree, because then you're just demonstrating to the employer that you have the business background, but you also have a high level of maths. And that means many, many career options are open to you.
Okay. I think we have covered all the questions so far.
Great.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here today. I think we should wrap it up. So is there anything you would like to add on, or maybe Shivani would like to add on to it?
Well, from my point, it's been a pleasure, even though I can't see you. I think that's a shame. It would be nice to see the students, but thank you very much for listening. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to get in touch with my colleague Shivani, and she can direct them towards me if needed.
Likewise, Bhavna, thank you so much to SIUK and to yourself and to Nidhi for organizing it in such a wonderful and professional manner. And a special thank you for all the students that joined in today. And I think the questions were extremely valuable, very intelligent. And many thanks to Dr. Dilly for taking our time and coming in and talking to you. I think you've got two more questions while we were saying all our thank you, Dilly. If you just want to take them up, I think Jeet's question is more related to Delhi's department. So I'd probably go with that one first, Bhavna.
Yeah, sure. So does Brunel offer economics and environmental development as a separate course?
No, we don't offer that as a separate program at the moment.
All right. And what are the career opportunity in management? Is there any course related in your university?
We do. We have courses like related to management, a lot of courses in the business school. I'll hand over to Shivani. It depends whether it's undergrad or postgrad, but she can answer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gagan, for your question. We have a range of courses at undergraduate and at postgraduate level. We're not sure whether you're referring to which level of degree, but if it's a postgraduate program, we offer the MSc Management, MSc Marketing, MSc in Global Supply Chain and Logistics, International Business, the AMBA accredited MBA, business intelligence and digital marketing, human resource management, corporate brand management. There's a series of courses. A lot of these courses also offer work placement options where you could study for 1 year and do a 1 year work placement afterwards. Depending on which management degree you choose to do, there would be varied career options in that field that our Professional Development Center could support you in securing after you complete your master's with us.
All right. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you, Ms. Delhi. I think we have covered all the questions now.
Lovely.
Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you, SIUK and Nidhi, and thanks most of all to all the students for taking the time to listen and ask such good questions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, once again, and wish you all of you stay safe with your families and hope to see you. Yes, absolutely. And hope to see you all at Brunel very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.